Alright, welcome to Nosy Joe's Motovlog. We're at Renfro Valley Dual Sport Ride 2025. Going to show you some clips from Saturday morning before lunch. Just some of the more interesting things. Tried to not do so much on just gravel roads and asphalt, but where it was a little bit more challenging, so you guys can see what you're getting into if you decide to go next year. This was a particularly bad forecast going in, and I think it kept a lot of people at home. But it turned out, I think maybe Saturday was the right day to go between the 2 days. Already hearing about rerouting Sunday. But yeah, it's basically 100% chance of rain starting Friday night. I think the good thing about it, because I watched the 2022 videos, was that there just wasn't that much quantity of rain like the week going into it. So at least the Saturday route, wasn't completely oversaturated, and it was fairly rocky, gravelly, and these trails not as much mud and clay, and so I didn't really think it was that bad. Nothing I hadn't encountered before in a race. So my crew today is Randy up there on the Beta 300, and Brian, who I think's behind me right now, on a TE 300. We do have John on his Beta for a bit, but he broke a throttle cable at some point. I think coming where you see us going through a grass field was about as far as he made it. So yeah, this is just I believe the main route, what they call the Blue Arrows for Saturday. And you can see it's got some challenging sections to it. They had us set up so the blue arrows were the main route, and then a red arrow would be what they called expert sections. We didn't do all of them. We did 2 of them before lunch and 1 of them after lunch. They progressively got harder, we were told, and that seemed to be true. The last one we did after lunch had some pretty big hill climb that gave us a little bit of trouble, but we made it. So we made it all the way through, minus a couple hero sections that we didn't try, and we started at 8:30 and finished, I don't know, before 3, I'd say 2:30, with some significant breaks at lunch and different points. I'll get this branch out of my rear wheel. I'm on my 2018 FE 501. I've done a few mods to it since last video. This is a slick section here. So far I'm real happy with my mods. I've got an SXF pipe on there. Took the reeds out of the airbox, and I've been working with a guy in Portland on a tune. We're on revision 3 of tuning, and it's doing a real good job for me so far. Some guys off to the side there. But I wanted to keep it very controllable, through the nasty stuff. And it is. I was able to just kind of cruise along in first gear and the real tight stuff, and not get away from me. So for tire setup for today, given the conditions we were anticipating, I wanted to go with something at least hybrid gummy. So I went with the trusty VE33S in the back, and I mounted that new IRC GX20 in the front. I did a quick video comparing that to the VX30 and VX40 earlier this week. You guys can check that out. But feedback so far is I really like it. It doesn't have the problem of getting packed with mud like the 40 does, and it has a soft enough carcass that, you know, during doing the slick rocks and stuff, it did a good job there. So it might be my new favorite tire. We'll see, but definitely did a good job. Now we did enough asphalt today that I kind of roasted that VE33S a little bit, but I still think it was the right choice. If I would have went more gummy, I would have roasted it worse, and I think going like less gummy, which for me would be like M5B, would have been a mistake given the slick rock. So we missed an entrance into the expert section here, so we dropped down the hill and joined up with the fellow experts. So that's what we're doing here. I do not have navigation on me. I did download the app they gave us and put it in my backpack in case I got totally lost, but I'm kind of relying on Randy and Brian for directions. So it kind of took a little bit for everybody to figure out the Onyx app. So we missed a couple turns here and there, but no big deal. Lots of little tree crossings gave people trouble, so I kind of bypassed that one. As far as the weather go, you know, probably the first couple of hours it was still sprinkling, but once we got to lunch and stuff, it kind of dried off. I mean, it wasn't completely dry, but at least stopped sprinkling on us. Best investment I made in prep for this was I bought this kind of pullover rain jacket off of Amazon that has a front pouch that zips and then 2 side pockets that zip. So I kept extra gloves in the side pockets, and I kept a microfiber towel in the pouch. And whenever I had a chance and pulled over, I could just reach into that pouch, grab that microfiber, and just kind of clean off my goggles and clean off my camera, dry my hands a little bit, and just stick it right back in that pouch. That was super handy. I would definitely recommend having something like that. A little hill climb here. No big deal. But yeah, I mean, I ended up wet still. I fell in a mud puddle late, and my legs, I didn't have any type of rain pants on them. But that's just I just kind of figured that was going to happen regardless, because my boots aren't super waterproof at this point. But I kept that rain off my upper body at least for when it was raining. and gave me some storage for when I needed to get to things quickly and easily. Yeah, so this is, they said, the easiest expert section, and of the three that we did, I believe that to be the case. If it had been dry, it would have been no big deal at all. I mean, it wasn't a big deal even today, but I can see if this would have been a dry weekend, this just would have been a fun trail for the most part. I just kind of go with the flow of traffic as far as speed here, because you just end up being right on the tail of people, and I didn't think this was really a appropriate place to be doing much passing. And if someone was going to get hung up on something, I wanted to have enough space out ahead of them that I could either make a decision to bypass or stop and wait. Now that guy needed to get ahead of me, and that's fine. He's just going to end up waiting on the guys that I was waiting on. But yeah, in these slick conditions, you don't want to get, halfway up a hill and have a guy stop in front of you. So I always try to give these guys space so I can keep my momentum. Just part of the strategy of riding with a bunch of other riders. But yeah, I'm running 8 to 10 pounds in both tires, and got my heavy duty tubes, and I'm having no trouble hooking up. There was enough rocks though that we encountered, especially later on with sharp edges, that made me a little bit nervous, but I didn't have any issue. But I can see that one might be more at ease with a bib, and the guys I rode with were running bibs, so I understand that. That takes that out of the equation, but so far so good with my IRC heavy duty tubes. Another tree I decided to go around. When you don't have much speed and you hit those really wet logs, it's easy to deflect in ways that you don't intend. But yeah, the 501's just very well behaved in these low speeds. It was only, maybe 60 degrees at this point. Of course, no issues overheating in this weather. We'll have to kind of see how it does when it gets 80, 90 degrees out, but seems real happy. Seems like it's not running lean. Just very content to kind of, I wouldn't call it lugging because I'm in first gear, but just to kind of cautiously go through this stuff. As long as you don't give it too much throttle, it's like riding an XR200 or something. logs that are kind of diagonal to the trail are always a little fun because you don't want them to catch your front wheel and bounce you sideways. And that's the end of the first somewhat difficult section. So I follow Randy on out to the next trail. I'm going to cut out some of the pavement, bring you back to when we go back off-road. So here we go. See the little pink ribbons there? That's how they mark the trail for us. Let us know we're on the right track. A lot of this here is just good dual sport trail that'd be a little bit challenging on a bigger bike, but just kind of fun and scenic on a little bike. Definitely little roads I've not done before. It's pretty sloppy in here. It's had a lot of exposed rock and stuff. Guy's starting to have a little bit of trouble. I decided to just kind of wait, let that clear up. This Kawasaki ahead of me, he's gonna become part of the story later on, so keep watching. I decided to kind of get out of this mucky trail and get up into the grass. Hopefully that didn't bother the farmer that owns this, but yeah, it was just a lot more solid terrain going the grass route, and then I dropped back down in. some roots there. Definitely mushy. Yes, I know some guys that rode this on T700s today. So yeah, hats off to them. I think that'd be tough. Another bike down up here, to the right, to the left. I think he was helping the other guy. Pop over that route there. You got a little exposed rock bump out. So I think down and to the right was Expert Section 2, but we didn't realize it, so we missed that one. Soupy section. Randy waiting on me. Guess I was going too slow. Water in the trail now. I think this was a lot worse back in 2022. If this is the same section I'm thinking it is. Take a little pit stop here. There's Kawasaki up there again. Now you guys pay attention here, see if I do something wrong. I do want to get around him because Randy's ahead of him at this point. I tried to just get in the left lane and go around him. Thought it was a clean pass. And I'm informed that it wasn't a clean pass here. So I floored it, he says. I'm sorry, man. I just 100% don't know how that happened. Really sorry. So this is a cool area up here where this heavy equipment was. I enjoyed this section a lot.
I got a guy cuss me out.
Cuss you out?
Yeah.
Is the guy on the green bike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he gave me some words too, and I said, speed it up.
I'm like, well, put your fucking goggles on.
No shit.
Notice I got mine on, dipshit.
So I kill it going up this little embankment. But I'm able to save it. And Randy has a little spill here. These logs are wet. Into some more slop. So yeah, as this winds down here in the next few minutes, just wanted to say I really enjoyed my first time at Renfro Valley. Is a very well-run organization and ride. No complaints there. You could complain about the weather, but given what happened on Sunday and how bad it was supposed to be on Saturday, I'm glad I made the choice to ride Saturday, and no regrets there. I'm glad I did it. And it was just some fun trails that I don't normally get to ride. And the only thing I would say, I think the name is a little misleading, is a dual sport ride. Maybe it is just a dual sport ride, and I know the bikes are supposed to be legal for the road. I get that part, but it definitely would be tougher in these types of conditions to do anything but the main trail, and even the main trail's challenging, had its challenges. So I probably like, me personally, anything bigger than like a XR 650L I think might be a lot, at least for someone at my skill level. But this 501 handled everything no problem. Anybody that's used to doing races and stuff in this area wouldn't have any issue with it at all. It'd just be a fun but challenging ride. So anyway, I plan to attend in the future. Really enjoyed it, and thanks to Brian and the Kentucky Ride Group for telling me about it, encouraging me to come, and thanks to Randy letting me chase him around today. With that, see you guys next time. Later.